Giving up doesn't always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like calm acceptance, like logic, like telling yourself you're just being realistic. If you've ever reached a point where quitting didn't feel emotional, just sensible, I want to sit with you there for a moment. Because that place changes people. I didn't wake up that day planning to give up. There was no breaking point, no dramatic failure, just a quiet accumulation of weight that finally felt heavier than hope. Everything worked, technically. I had a routine, responsibilities, a life that made sense on paper. But something inside me had gone still. Not numb, just tired of asking questions that never got answers. I remember standing there, doing something ordinary, the kind of task your body knows how to do without thinking, and realizing I was moving without believing anymore. That scared me more than anger ever did. Anger means you still care, still expect something. This felt different. It felt like the moment where you stop arguing with disappointment and start making peace with it. I told myself it was maturity, that expectations were childish, that hoping for more was naive. And for a while, that story worked. It made the wait feel justified, responsible. But something else started happening. I stopped imagining, not dreaming, imagining. I stopped seeing myself ahead of where I was, stopped picturing growth, stopped believing my effort was going anywhere meaningful. I didn't announce this to anyone. From the outside, nothing changed. That's how quiet giving up can be. You still show up, still function, still smile when required. But inside, you start pulling your future closer, shrinking it to fit what feels survivable. That's the danger. Not quitting outright, but slowly adjusting your expectations downward until they no longer threaten you with disappointment. I remember thinking, if nothing is going to change, maybe I should just stop trying so hard. That thought didn't feel rebellious. It felt merciful. And that's how I knew something was wrong. Because mercy that costs you your spirit isn't mercy. It's surrender disguised as peace. I didn't decide to keep going that day, not consciously. I just didn't stop. And that distinction matters. Sometimes faith isn't choosing hope. It's refusing to finalize despair. I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel inspired. I just took the next step because not taking it felt like a line I wasn't ready to cross. I kept planting seeds, even though the ground still looked dead. That's the part people misunderstand. Faith doesn't always come with warmth. Sometimes it feels mechanical. Cold hands, heavy feet, no reassurance. But you move anyway. Not because you believe things will get better, but because becoming someone who stops believing feels worse. That day taught me something I never forgot. Giving up doesn't begin with failure. It begins with permission. Permission to stop expecting, to stop caring, to stop hoping quietly. And once you grant that permission, it's hard to take it back. So I didn't grant it. Not heroically, not bravely. I just delayed the decision, one day at a time. If you're listening to this and you're standing near that edge, you don't need to feel hopeful tonight. You don't need clarity. You just need to not finalize the story that says this is all there is. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is keep walking without believing in the destination. Imagine driving a long stretch of road with no clear destination sign. You've been driving for hours. Your hands ache from gripping the wheel. The fuel gauge is lower than you expected. At some point, you pull over, not to turn back, not to move forward, just to stop. The engine idles. The road hums beside you. Cars pass, each one headed somewhere else. You sit there wondering if this is the moment you quit. No dramatic breakdown, no tears, just fatigue heavy enough to make stopping feel reasonable. You don't decide anything right away. You just breathe. And in that stillness, something quiet happens. You realize you didn't stop because you didn't care. You stopped because you'd been carrying too much alone. The road didn't defeat you, it just asked you to rest. So you sit a little longer, not to escape the journey, but to remember why you started driving in the first place. Eventually, you put the car back in gear, not because you're energized, not because you're certain, but because stopping forever would have meant abandoning something you still cared about. That's what the day I almost stopped felt like. Not failure, a pause long enough to choose to keep going.